All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started because we're recording this, and if anybody misses it, they can go back and see the recording. I'm going to hand my phone over to my camera person, who will try and make me look as pretty as possible. So welcome to, what is it? Oh, Stir Fry Night, our first cooking demo with our Chef Del's Diet Days group. These are fun, so I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed doing them. And not a lot of work. They're pretty easy to put together. I've got 4 recipes we're going to do tonight. We're going to start off, and you should have the recipes. I posted the recipes in the on the event page, so you should see them there for your future use. All of these recipes came from or are adapted from Forks Over Knives, the cookbook. And all relatively easy. I think once you get them prepped, it's a relatively easy thing to put together to stir fry. It's probably my most common meal, just because it's a whatever you have on hand kind of a thing. The one thing that I do keep on hand is I make a sauce. The Chinese brown sauce is one of my favorites. It's soy sauce and it's vegetable broth, some kind of sweetener. Usually in the cookbook it says brown rice syrup. I'm using maple syrup tonight, which is a little sweeter, so you have to watch it. A thickener, either arrowroot powder or cornstarch, garlic, and ginger. Now, the cookbook calls for fresh ginger. Mine was bad, and then I got more. They outed me on it, so I didn't get it. So you can use powdered ginger. If you use powdered ginger, you use about 1/3 as much as you do of the fresh. A couple of things about the sauce. If you're trying to cut back on your sodium, take out as much of the soy sauce as you want, replace it with an equal amount of vegetable broth. Make sure, of course, you're getting a low sodium or no sodium added vegetable broth. If you're trying to cut back on your sugar, same rule applies. You can replace it with an equal amount of vegetable broth. You can replace both, but then that's a whole different recipe, isn't it? Okay. So to make this sauce, it's relatively easy. You're just going to put everything into a small saucepan. And I know that my camera person and my brother are letting in anybody as they come along. That's our sweetener, our garlic, and then our powdered ginger and our arrowroot powder. And then you just want to whisk that while it's still cold, because otherwise it'll get lumpy on you. Although the arrowroot doesn't get as lumpy in the same way that the cornstarch or flour does, so not quite as big a deal. But anyway, go ahead and mix it up while it's still cold. All you're going to do with this is cook it until it starts to thicken and heats up, and then it's ready to go. I made a double batch to go with all of the recipes that we're doing. And I'm going to, while we're waiting on that one, let's see. What recipe can I start? I think there's one recipe that doesn't use. Yeah, we can go ahead and make our lo mein. So while I'm waiting for that one to start, we can go ahead and start on another dish, and we'll keep our eye on that. So one of the recipes you have is for a lo mein noodles. Probably the first Chinese food I ever had was vegetable lo mein. In downtown Columbus, there's a Chinese restaurant still there. Been there since I was a kid, called Ho Toys. Jeffrey, my brother, who's helping host tonight, remembers Ho Toys.
Oh, loved it.
Yeah, it's been around forever and ever. I'm always surprised it's still there when I'm downtown.
It's down on Broad Street. Was it the one on Broad Street?
No, it's on State Street.
Oh, it's that one, right? State.
Yeah. So for maybe I'll do it in one of these. For our lo mein, I need a little bowl. Grab one.
Oh. He's using one over here.
All I'm going to do is combine my soy sauce, and I forgot to measure out my maple syrup. Is that right? My soy sauce and in my case, maple syrup, and then my and my garlic. I'll get put together. Okay, we're letting our pan heat up. Now, I know one of the questions that you're going to ask me is, what's the best pan for stir fry? Technically, the test kitchen people tried several, and they actually like a cast iron skillet best. And I tell you why, it holds the heat longer. You can get it hotter and keep it hot longer, which is what you want for a stir fry. You're going in fast and hot for stir fry, so you get those crisp, tender vegetables. Is what you want in the end. I did not get snow peas, but I think that on your list it should say broccoli or some other vegetable. So
It does. That's right, though.
We're good. Okay. So that's I followed through there. So we're just going to let our pan get hot. Here's the deal: your better quality cookware has a heavy bottom pan. It's one of the features of it. Are we boiling?
Yeah, it just started.
All right, you can see our sauce there if you want to show that real quick. Came to boil, and we're just going to turn that off and set it aside. So it's good to go. Anyway, your better cookware, heavy bottom, so that it holds heat better. A cheap cookware with a really thin bottom actually burns quicker if the heat comes through it so quickly. So you want to go with the heavy bottom cookware, whatever you get, and that allows us to go ahead and heat this up. And then to that, we've got our onion, carrots, and red pepper. And you'll notice you can hear the sizzle in the pan, but I've added no water. All right, so we're doing an oil-free kitchen. We're starting off with a dry skillet. We're going to add water only as we need to. I do tend to add a little bit towards the end of a stir fry, or before I go onward sometimes, just because it'll help cook the vegetable. But in the beginning, I want to caramelize that flavor, right? I want the caramelization to happen, and it happens in that dry skillet. Okay. If we need a reminder of why no oil, we'll do that in another session during a Q&A, or you can do it later if you like. So what makes this work in an oil-free is the high water content of these vegetables. Onions, carrots, celery, peppers, bok choy, cabbage, all of those kinds of vegetables that have lots of water, mushrooms. The water helps buffer the pan to keep it from sticking. You'll notice you've done it before. You'll put garlic into a pan and it'll stick. So you want to avoid those in the early stages. We're going to add it towards the end and let it cook for just a minute, and then we deglaze the pan if we have to. And again, you don't want this to cook until, you don't want mushy vegetables. That's not what we're going for. But you can see on some of those vegetables, a little bit of the browning that's going on there. That's flavor, right? You want that. And then I'm going to go ahead. Normally, if you were adding snow peas, you would add those at the last minute. My broccoli's frozen, but it's there.
It'll defrost.
But since we're doing the broccoli that's frozen, I'm going to add it in a little bit earlier. And of course, the excess water on that broccoli is going to help deglaze our pan some too. And that's okay.
if you don't have snow peas, you don't have broccoli, you could do cabbage. You could do sugar snap peas. You could do squash. Whatever you have on hand. That's the joy of stir fry. The whatever you have on hand kind of a deal. Jeffrey, any questions coming through yet?
No, I don't have any questions. I did have a question though. In terms of equipment, do you think it's worth it for somebody to invest in a wok, or just stick with a nice pan?
The problem with a wok is it requires a really hot stove. Most home cooks don't have enough BTUs on their stove to get a wok hot enough.
Okay.
All right. So if you've got a commercial kitchen in your house, which I would love to have, then go for it. But otherwise, you're better off with a heavy bottom pan like a cast iron, something like that. Now I know there's a couple people out there that are like, but isn't cast iron not good for you? The Peace Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine says, you know, it leaches off too much iron, which can cause dementia. That's a decision you have to make. You can use other kinds of cookware like an enamel coated pan. You just can't get them as hot.
I have an
So,
enamel coated cast iron pan.
enamel coated cast iron.
Mhm.
So there you go. And then we're just gonna cook this. This is almost ready to add the sauce and the noodles.
You don't even like it.
Adding our mung bean sprouts in. All I can find these days, and depending on where you shop, is canned mung beans. Drives me crazy.
You can get them at the Chinese store.
We did, yeah, that's true too.
They
Yeah.
have a ton.
So we'll add in our sauce, our cooked noodles. I know my helpers are gonna ask if they can take some of this home. My answer is no. This one's mine.
It's okay. We ate dinner before we
Yeah.
Looks good though.
Doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
And notice how quick and easy they come together. One of the tricks to stir fry, you do want to go ahead and prep and measure out all of your ingredients ahead of time. It'll just, because this happens so quickly, right?
Yep.
You don't really want to be stuck looking for something while your vegetables are sitting there getting mushy. Okay, so it's worth prepping it all ahead of time. I'm going to be the meat host and taste.
Del, I've got a question from Joanne.
Yeah.
She just got on. What type of noodles are those? Are those lo mein? Or could you use spaghetti or noodles or
This
something?
is linguine. You can use whatever you find. I tried to get brown rice noodles and my shopper couldn't find them. So we ended up with just a regular linguine or a spaghetti noodle, one of the two. I think
Okay.
this is spaghetti.
Yeah, I think it's spaghetti too.
But you can use whatever you like in a long noodle.
Oh.
So I love this recipe. Does not a lot of sauce, but the flavor of the vegetables and everything come through nicely.
It's a low sodium dish, isn't it?
Well, it could be if you and no, I mean it's not low sodium, not technically. And then that's number one down.
Yeah, Lonnie says Lonnie says she loves the stir fry without the oil, and Sharma says that really looks good, and I think she's right.
Thank you, everybody. All
I'm
right,
hungry.
everybody hungry? Well, if you
Yep.
live here, baby brother.
Well, maybe next year.
Maybe next year. No. All right, so that's one down. We've got our we've got our I can't think straight. Our sauce done. We've got our lo mein done, and then maybe up next we'll do our pineapple fried rice.
Yum,
Yay!
Again, another easy one. And this is one of those things where you want to have the cooked rice on hand throughout the week, which makes this just come together that much more quickly. All right. So we're heating up a skillet. You can see I've got another skillet here.
One.
This is a deep one. It's a big one. Here's the one thing about your stir fry. You don't want a crowded pan. With the lo mein noodles, it was okay because we're really just heating that towards the end. But you want plenty of room for your vegetables to be able to move around and to get to all the heat. So the bigger the better. This one's just a little bit big, but that's okay. Whatever you have is what you use, right?
Yep.
And then you try and keep me away from eating the cashews. They are delicious. I need to measure out a half a cup of my brown sauce. All right, we'll set that aside. And then once our pan gets hot enough,
Del, Amanda wants to know, with fried rice, should the rice be cooled first, or does it matter?
it doesn't really matter. I think the cookbook tells you to cool it first, but I don't know that it matters at all.
I don't think it does.
So, if you happen to be cooking your rice at the same time, don't not make the dish because your rice isn't cold. Let's see, one way to tell if your pan is hot enough, throw a little water in there, and that one is. So we'll go ahead and add our onion. And watch out, don't let your face get too close to those serrano peppers because they will speak to you. I've learned that lesson the hard way. You can see already that onions are starting to do their thing. And really, most of this is just about reheating. Once you've got the onions cooked in this, you're pretty much just going to throw everything else into the pan and let it heat up and come together. But you do want to just take the edge off those onions and let them do their thing.
It's best to use nonstick or stainless steel for this.
With the oil-free technique, it's whatever you want to use. I've got the recipes designed to make use of whatever pan you have.
Okay.
All right. You can see I use cast iron for the first one. I've got stainless steel for the next one. You can use nonstick if you want to. Nonstick tends not to get quite the caramelization that other pans do, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it. And you can see in the stainless steel pan a little bit of browning there on our vegetables. It's just good flavor. And then if you add a little bit of water, a couple tablespoons is really all you need.
Wow.
All you're doing is deglazing that pan.
Joanne Papa says that she has found a new love of stainless steel now that she cooks oil-free. It deglazes so beautifully.
Yeah, it really does. All right. We're going to go ahead and add in our Chinese brown sauce, our cooked rice, and our remaining ingredients. We got our frozen peas, our pineapple, our cashews. Oops, I forgot the garlic. And at this point, you don't want to leave this in there too long because that rice will stick to there pretty quickly. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
It's so good.
It's my favorite, one of my favorite recipes.
Yeah, I like and then our cilantro to close off the evening. And you are officially the most popular person in your house. All right. Let that simmer for just a minute. Ooh, I can feel the serrano.
Yeah.
Ooh, you feel it?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
It's serrano love, baby. And of course, if you don't like it spicy, you can leave out the serrano.
If you were having people over, how far ahead could you cook this and not lose quality?
Oh my
I would say,
Uh-oh.
I know we're having serrano trauma
Yes.
over here. I would say that you don't cook it at all until your guests get there, but you have all your ingredients prepped, ready to go.
Okay.
Because the actual cooking only takes, 5 or 6 minutes, as you can see. See here.
Serrano.
We're gonna take a station break.
So spicy.
Woo!
How are you not coughing, Evan? It's like mace or something. Pepper spray.
Woo!
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Looks yummy though.
Woo!
You want me to open the back door?
Yeah, you want to
Here,
open the
Evan,
door?
hold this, please.
Woo! Oh. We're on
Sharma
schedule.
Ridley was saying that was fast. That was a fast dish, Thomas. What, 5-minute stops?
What's that, buddy?
We got a comment from Sharma Ridley. That was fast. So that was maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe 5 minutes. That's stir fry. That's kind of why I think it should be a standard in your houses, because if you have your ingredients prepped, and you could do your ingredient prep at the beginning of the week, cook your rice, have everything ready to go, make your sauces,
Woo-wee.
and then your it's so funny that didn't hit at all.
No.
Right when you first went in. Then all
It's
of a
better
sudden
now that the door's open.
it
It's
hit.
getting better.
Oh my goodness. Anyway,
That was-
you have all your ingredients ready to go in the beginning of the week, and then stir fry. You have dinner on the table in less than 10 minutes. That's the whole point of that. All right, so I got one more dish, and then we can do Q&A and go sit outside and get some air.
My eyes, all of our eyes were watering.
Right?
It was really like somebody pepper sprayed in here.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna do a stir-fried bok choy and brown rice with a garlic sauce. So we actually adding a little bit more garlic than we had in our brown sauce. Excuse me. Letting our pan up, I'll do a stain or a non-stick pan so you can see the cooking in that. I forget what brand this is. This is a Calphalon, so
Ooh.
finishes tend to hold up better on a non-stick pan if you spend a little bit more money on them.
I like Calphalon.
Yeah, I've had this pan for 4 years. I mean, and look at it, you can see what good shape it's in, right?
Uh-huh.
Now I try not to use, if I can help it, try not to use a stainless steel spatula on it.
Mhm.
I'm trying to use like a rubber spatula or something like that, and that helps a lot. All right, and then your non-stick doesn't take quite as long to heat up, so we go ahead and add in our onions and our peppers. Our bok choy will wait a minute because it only takes a minute to cook. Make it?
Yeah, better now with that wood door open.
It
It was intense for a second.
was intense. That hasn't happened for a long time.
I usually deseed my peppers, so that's never happens to me.
Okay.
I don't cook the seeds.
So just letting our onions and peppers cook there for a minute. Oh goodness.
Are
Yeah,
you putting Del, are you putting sherry in this?
I am putting sherry in this. Here's the thing: I found sherry cooking wine, which normally you want to stay. Let's see. The big difference between the sherry cooking wine and a bottle of sherry that you might drink is they add salt to this. I don't know why they do that, but they do add salt to this. So keep that in mind if you're using it.
Preservative, maybe?
Maybe, yeah, it might be preservative. If you buy regular sherry, then of course you can have a little sip too.
I like how you think.
right?
It reminds me of my grandma.
Well, I have a story about my baby brother and Sherry, some cooking Sherry, but I'm not gonna turn him in since he's on the call and being
Well,
so
you'll have
great.
to tell me later because I don't remember a
You don't
Sherry
remember?
story. No.
All right, call me later.
Amanda says that might be why they add salt is to avoid drinking it all.
Yeah, all I'll say is it doesn't stop some people.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, is that where this is going?
It doesn't stop some people. All right, so you can, again, if you take a look there, you can see the browning still happening in our oil-free stove.
Quasi wants to know if you can replace the peppers with jalapeno peppers.
Sure.
If you
Okay.
want to cough like we just did.
And if you want to add the peppers in towards the end, so you don't have that little event that we just had, that's okay too. All right, we'll go ahead and add our bok choy. I couldn't find baby bok choy, so I got regular, and then I'm just using a couple of stalks from that.
That's another thing you can find at the Chinese grocery. Baby bok choy.
Yeah, I bet. There's a great. Have you been to that place up on Morse Road? That market, international market.
I don't think so.
Oh my God, it's huge. It has ethnic food from all over the world.
Oh, check that out. It's close to my house.
Huge market.
Joanne's Papa says she loves baby bok choy. I think I do too. I may have to get some next time I get my delivery.
It's not a bad little thing. All right, this has crushed red pepper.
That'll be okay.
We're gonna add this towards the very end.
Yes,
Go ahead and
crushed
add my
red pepper to
garlic.
put in it.
You can see there's a little bit of sticking there, even in the non-stick pan.
So what if you forget that you're out of fresh garlic? Can you substitute powdered garlic or not?
Yeah, but you'll use about a third as much.
Okay.
You don't want to, if you have 2 tablespoons of fresh garlic, you don't want to put in 2 tablespoons of granulated because you won't be happy.
Okay.
All right. So how much of my brown sauce? I got a quarter cup of brown sauce to add. Now that, our sherry. Yes. Let that all cook in for a minute.
Joanne said you can never have too much garlic though.
I'm not in disagreement with that statement at all.
And is that the same brown sauce that you made earlier?
It is the exact same one.
Okay.
And I'm adding my crushed red pepper and then running for the door. My brown rice. And we'll mix that all in.
Oh, I'm so hungry. It's not even funny.
I'm very sorry.
That's why I ate before I came here because I was like, oh no.
I've got dinner for tonight, lunch for tomorrow, dinner tomorrow night, lunch and dinner the next day. Woohoo! I love cooking class day.
Do you have time for a quick story?
Sure.
Back when we were roommates 10 years ago, I came home from work and you said, oh, there's chicken teriyaki in there for you. And I knew there was no chicken in the house. You never had chicken in the house.
Right.
So I went ahead and got my plate, sat down to eat it, and you could swear it was chicken teriyaki in a stir fry. It was so good.
One of the meat substitutes.
Right.
I know. I know. I can fool all people. And then at the very end of this, we'll add in our quarter cup of green onions just to finish.
John wants to know if you can freeze the sauces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can. They'll keep, by the way, because of all the sodium and the and such and sugars. They'll probably keep a couple of weeks at least in your refrigerator. And that is that.
That looks amazing.
Isn't that delicious?
Yum.
I better taste it then.
Will this Zoom be posted for people who missed the brown sauce recipes? Or
Yeah,
what?
it's recorded. It's recorded and will get posted.
Brilliant.
And that is delicious.
Oh, it's got to be.
So that's that. Easy, right? How long did that take us? A little over 35 minutes. 4 recipes. Life is good. Any
Sandy,
questions?
yeah, Sandy Quash wants to know which cookbook can we find these recipes?
Most of these came out of Forks Over Knives, the cookbook. Sandy, meet my baby brother. Hopefully you'll get to meet him in person one day.
Hopefully, yes. And Danyanita
Sandy's a
Horn,
friend.
go ahead.
Sandy's a friend that lives outside of DC.
Oh, wonderful. Danyanita Home says, hey, cuz, so glad you chose to cook stir fry. Love them. Looks so tasty.
They taste even better than they look. They're tasting good.
Amanda wants to say she has to hop off. Thank you for the demo and recipes. She looks forward to making them soon. I will watch the replay of the Q&A. So,
All right, think about what you guys want to do the next time. I'm open for ideas. I'm thinking we'll do soups next time in a couple of weeks. Is that door still open? Can you
Yeah.
close that, please? Thank you. Any other
Christina.
questions before we sign off?
yeah, Christina doesn't have audio. She can't hear anything. Hopefully she'll be able to when you post the recording.
Well, okay. I wonder what happened.
Sometimes
Don't
you have
know.
to sometimes you have to do an update on your Zoom when that happens.
Ah. What else?
All right. If there are no more questions, go off and cook healthy food. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks live. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Del.
Bye.